We've got a project coming up, and I wanted to show you what we're fixing to do on the farm here, give you an overview of what's going on and the reasons why we're doing it. So we are going to install a 30,000 gallon liquid nitrogen storage tank. Stainless tank is a Novid brand. There's some other neighbors around here in the local area here that have several of these tanks. It's a good looking tank, should be a lifetime tank for us. We're going to install this out here by one of our old equipment sheds, and we're going to pour a concrete pad. For now, I wanted to show you some pictures of where it's going. I'm going to include a before picture. This was pretty much just junk that we accumulated, didn't really have a place to go with it, and we stuck it in this spot. We got all that cleaned up. It's going to be a 20-foot wide pad from the corner of this shed here, 20 feet that way, and then we're going to come 36 feet out. Here's the forms. It's going to be a 12-inch thick pad, and we'll have our footer around the edge, obviously. We are going to put rebar in it, lay some plastic down, then put the rebar on. The pad is 18 wide by 36 long. I think it's going to be pretty nice. That old blue truck there, that was my granddad's grain truck a long time ago. We just use it now to haul stuff. We parked it over here to put all of this topsoil on that they peeled off. We'll get that done and get that out of the way. So the idea is going to be that we're able to drive around this equipment shed with semis or anything else we want to put liquid in. We'll gravel a drive on the west side of that building all the way around this pad here to make another circle. So we've got good access to the tank, and we're building this pad, you know, obviously a lot bigger than what we need. The tank is only 12 foot wide, it's 35 feet tall, but we're building it big enough to hold 2 tanks. I feel like in the future we will probably purchase another one. We need about 60,000 gallons worth of storage to take care of our needs throughout the whole year. But for now, we're just going to use the one and get that set up. They came and got the rebar done on this pad, and we caught a shower of rain not long after. So that's going to delay the concrete game a little bit, but I think it'll be okay. We'll get it pumped out what we can and let it dry out for a couple days this week. It's 5/8 rebar, number 5, on 1 foot centers. And they stiffened up these corners a little bit with some added rebar. Okay, so the day has come. The concrete has been poured. It's been sitting here for 2 weeks. It's had enough time to cure and do its thing. And we are expected to get our tank this morning. The crane is here. He's getting set up and ready. You can see how high that front tire is off the ground there because he's got it blocked up. Pretty neat. So we're gonna have the semi pull in here. He's gonna sit here. Crane's gonna hook to the top of the tank, and then we're going to take our track hoe, tie to the bottom of the tank to keep it stabilized, keep it from rolling around and damaging the tank. I'm not sure if he's gonna take the tank over that shed there or if he'll come around. I think he'll probably go over the shed if he can clear it, but we'll see how it goes. We got the tank set. Everything is looking good. He got it set on the first try, no problems. Really good operator. He's getting everything set to take it down and go back home. Here's the new tank. Pretty pumped to use this. So this is going to hold about 165 tons of liquid fertilizer, and we built the pad to hold another tank. Hopefully in the next year or two we'll purchase another tank to go there beside it. But for now this is gonna do us a really good job. I'm going to show you the inside of the tank here. So Novid offers a feature called the aeration diffuser system. It's all of this hardware on the inside here, and it also comes with a controller that allows you to hook compressed air up to a fitting on the outside and introduce air into the tank. And this is good, especially if you're going to store product for a long period of time or over winter. I know 32% has a tendency to salt out, so being able to stir the product is a really big benefit in my opinion. So the project is almost completed. We've got to put stainless steel anchor bolts in to bolt the tank to the pad so it doesn't blow away. Now, I know when there's liquid in here, the chances of it moving are very slim, but when it is empty, it's just nice to have it anchored down in case we do have a storm, but we're not too far away from getting this completed. We've also got to put stainless bolts into this manhole here. Get that done, and then we'll add a pump and all the fittings. But if you like what you're watching here, give us a like, follow, subscribe. And we'll try to post more projects as time goes. Thank y'all for watching. All right, we're here with Patrick this morning. He's the crane operator, and he's going to give us some specs on this crane here.
It's a 60-ton 3-axle Liebherr AT crane. We got it right now with, it's got a total tip height of 131 feet, but we got 3 sections at 90. I think it's around 95 feet of boom out right here. They saying the tank's 35 feet tall.
Yep.
So I ran that much boom out just so I can be sure and clear the building here. We're going to take the tank over the building, and the pads, we've got the pad measured out to be 65 feet from the radius on the crane. So
okay,
that way we'll be sure to have enough tip height to be able to get down, boom down over there on the tank to set it on the pad. The crane's got multiple pinning points. You can see those little holes on the side of those gray sections.
Yep.
It's got a 46% pinning point. It's got a 92% pin point, and it's got a 100% pin point. So with the crane, with the boom section at 92 is stronger than it would be with 100, just because it's got that extra few feet stuffed down inside there.
Okay.
At this radius, if I would have run those 3 sections out all the way, the crane was good for like 10,000 pounds, which is the weight of our tank.
Yeah.
But if I retracted those 3 to 92%, it gave me 16.5. So
Okay.
it's considerably, it does a lot more, got a lot better capacity if you don't have to if you don't need that height. So it's got 25,000 pounds of counterweight. We got it all picked up. 2 of them stay pinned at all times to the superstructure, and then 2 of them are sitting down when you travel, sitting on the deck there.
So do you block up every time when you go to a job?
We blocked up because of the grade. Just trying to get, when you set the crane up, you want all the weight to be on these 4 points on these outriggers.
Okay.
And trying to clear the tires off the ground, you don't want that to fulcrum on the axle. So by floating all the tires, you know you have all the weight on these outrigger pads. And with the grade, how much slope here on the driveway, by the time I maxed my cylinder out, the tire was, both my back 2 axles were still on the ground. Okay. So we had to add a little bit of cribbing there to raise the crane up high enough to clear. This crane does have what they call a variable base outrigger, where you can change if you're in a tight spot and you can't extend one of them all the way, you can actually retract it and have it somewhat retracted and the other 3 out. And as you swing across that short outrigger, the computer make adjustments for it. It knows that hey, that beam's not all the way out. It can't take that full load. So the computer actually takes the load chart, and minimizes it to like a 50% chart. Wow. As you're over that quadrant, you know. And then as you come back 90 degrees, where you're over this fully extended outrigger, it goes back to 100%. Okay. So it literally will take a 90 degree section out of that 360 degree swing and derate that 90 degree area.
It does it all itself.
Yeah, it'll do it on the fly.
No kidding.
It's got these little sensors. It's got load sensors and it's got beam length sensors that will compute it. There's no fooling it. It knows what it has out.
What's the most challenging part about operating it?
Probably just figuring, knowing, you know, a lot of people want you to come look at something and have obstacles or different elevations that you have to be able to clear your load, and you know, really just mapping that out and bidding something and knowing that you can do what you say you do, because, you know, this crane, for instance, is $1,000, which is not that big of a when you get into like the bigger cranes, you know, we got a 200 ton, it's $5,000. Well, once you leave the shop and you start doing this, the customer's paying for that. They don't want to see you say you can do something that you find out you can't. So, you know, there can be a little bit of pressure knowing that put up or shut up, basically, you know.
Right.
It's the time to say what you said you can do. That's where most of your stress is.
Yeah.
As far as operating the crane, I mean, you stick within the load charts, what it tells you can do. I mean, another thing, we do set a lot of modular homes where we're getting out on grass.
Yeah.
You don't always know what the ground load, you know, what the ground can take. So that might be a little stressful at times, knowing that ground could give away, you know. But for the most part, we have 4-foot pads here to support this 60-ton crane. When you get to something like a 200-ton, you know, we got like a 4x8 sheet of steel sitting underneath each one of these to disperse that load, that ground load. But yeah, I would say ground pressure and figuring job is probably the most stressful part for what we do.
Right.
As far as operating the crane, it's really not. If you could drive a forklift, you could drive a crane, really, you know.
Yeah.
Not much difference there. When you go to pick heavy things up that are you got a fully extended boom, it could give, the boom will could deviate from where you're starting if you're just cabling up. So there are times when you got your hook centered on a part and you're loading, it's like a fishing pole. It's steadily pulling that boom tip down as you're just winching up.
Yeah. So
sometimes you have to compensate for it and boom up instead of cable up to keep that boom tip centered over what you're trying to lift.
Okay.
Because, you know, if you don't, just say this tank coming on the semi when you go to pick it up, if you cable up and pull that boom tip over from where you started, when you actually do lift the tank off the trailer, it could swing out because now your tip of your boom is further over than where you started.
Right. Talk about cost structure and what you charge and how y'all charge. Like for this job, I'm assuming this job is by the hour from when you left the store. Is that right?
Yeah, we
are
charge
different cranes, different prices.
We charge port to port. So from the time we leave, this crane's got a 4-hour minimum on it. From the time we leave the shop to the time we get back to the shop, basically you're just punching in and punching out on time clock. We probably got 10-15 minutes worth of setup time on this little crane. Of course, when you break down 15 and another 30 back, you're looking at an hour and a half out of the 4 hours is traveling and set up. So you've got the remainder of that is part of our 4-hour minimum to lift the tank and set it, which I think, I think we can do it within the 4 hours.
You said you had a 4-hour minimum. This crane, I think you said earlier, was like $200 an hour over that 4-hour minimum.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep. It's about $900 to get the crane for that 4 hours. Anything additional is just charged $200 an hour per hour that we use it.
Yeah. What's a new crane cost? Just give me a rough idea off the hip.
This crane is roughly, it came from Germany on a ship, so time it's delivered and built and delivered, you're looking at close to $1 million.
Really?
Yeah. We've got some that are a little more than that, $1.25 million. These tires, you're looking at $5,000 a tire.
Yeah.
This thing will eat tires.
How long will y'all keep this crane, you think? What's the lifespan at your place?
Well, this crane's a 2022 model. We've got some cranes that are 15 years old, 20 years old. We don't use them as much as the newer ones. This crane, it's got some DEF emissions sensors on this crane. That's about the only thing you really get trouble out of on them,
right,
with them being this new.
Right.
You keep them greased and keep hoses changed out. You really don't have much downtime with these newer cranes.
Right. It's a slick machine.
I appreciate it.